Hi guys, I'm Heidi. I'm here with Marc Alexander,
Hi.
who is a class of 2000s graduate. So today I'm going to ask him a few questions about his time at uni and also what he's doing now. What are you doing now? Where do you work?
Yeah.
Are you still in the area?
Yes, I left Champaign and I came back, so I'm actually still local now. I work just across campus at the University YMCA. It's not a typical YMCA. It focuses more on community outreach and advocacy and leadership development, a lot of different programs. And I am the development director there. So I am the primary fundraiser. I work with membership. I drive funds for the organization. It's a very frontward facing job and a great place to work.
All right. And does that align with like what you kind of envisioned yourself doing in high school?
No, not at all. No, I had gone to college. Long story short, I was going to go to law school after college and had a sort of path on that way. Right before I decided I wasn't so sure about it, didn't know if I wanted to do it, and pulled out, and then got into fundraising, development, and advancement a little whiles after that. So it wasn't exactly how I planned. I'm very happy. I love my job, love the work I'm doing, but had a sort of different route to getting there.
Yeah, so if you don't mind me asking, how did you deal with that, emotionally? I know it's hard to, kind of focus on something for a while, and then, when you're unsure of it, how did you feel, how did you make that decision to, pull out of law school and, try something new?
Yeah, it was a tough decision, and it was one, I think that when you're 16 years old and you set yourself on a path and then you change a little bit, the world changes, you make big decisions at that age, and even 10 years later, lots of things can happen in your life. And so it was a tough decision, but I sort of recognized that a path that I'd set myself on at a certain age wasn't the one I was necessarily wanted to be on anymore. I think it was a good decision. I don't have any regrets on it, but it was definitely a very tough one, yeah.
How was your experience transitioning from uni, which is a relatively small school, to college, or to your job now where you work? How did that experience, how was that kind of different, or how was it kind of similar?
Yeah, I feel like I anticipated that to a degree at the time. I did not want to go to a large school. I didn't want to go to Illinois. I would have been fine there, but largely because it was such a huge location. And most of the places I applied were smaller. So I went to Vanderbilt University in Nashville, which at the time was about 6,000 undergrads. So it wasn't very super small for a college, but it was not huge. You could get to anywhere on campus within a 15-minute walk. You could see people around campus day to day, but not all the time. So it was a really good transition from a small school to another place that felt like a community as well, versus 35, 50,000 student campus where you're one tiny cog in a huge machine. So
I guess now I'm gonna try to ask you some more questions about actually your time at uni. So I guess my first question is, can you describe your involvement in extracurriculars, and do you still do some of the stuff that maybe you did in high school now?
Yeah. So my 5 years at uni, when I started, I wasn't involved in a whole lot of stuff. I was very quiet, introverted, and kind of broke out of my shell eventually. Once I did that, I was involved. I was in orchestra all 5 years. I was in chorus for a few years and madrigals. I did theater and big show and student productions for 3 or 4 years in there. Soccer, a couple seasons. I ended up being involved in a lot of different things. Most of my favorite things were all in the arts, though. It was all music and theater related. There were some other clubs in there, Irish Club and lounge committee, those types of things. But the biggest ones were sort of the arts and theater groups that my last 2-3 years I really got heavily involved in. I mentioned earlier that I was very introverted and very quiet, and it was those activities that kind of broke me out of my shell. And I'm a very extroverted person these days, and my job is heavily relationship based and people facing, and I don't think I could do that had I gone to a different school in town and not gone to uni. I think it was those activities that really broke me out and said it's okay to be you, it's okay to be a little weird if you want to, you can be creative. I think those, whether it was Mr. Murphy or Barbara Ridenhour or the people that were here at the time, or the plays themselves or the different groups, though I credit those specifically to a lot of who I am today and who I became.
All right, so I guess what is your most memorable moment from your time as a student, or any memorable classes, teachers?
My class had a really great connection with Mr. Sutton, who's retired now, but he was on the history faculty, and he did junior history, American history, and then he would do a senior seminar where you would, the second semester was a 30, 40 page research paper. He was awesome. He's one of my favorite teachers I had all through uni. Mr. Butler too. Mr. Murphy was a huge part of my time here, given all the music stuff I was involved in. Favorite specific memory, it's not like specific, but my senior year Big Show, I directed that with my friend Bess Slattery, and that was like one of the favorite things I did at uni. And also like going back, like as a subby me could never have imagined like being in it, let alone directing it and running the whole thing. So that whole 2-3 weeks at the end of that year was super special to do that with a bunch of my friends and people I knew, and put on this really do-it-yourself show. It was very student-led, obviously. And then there's a really fun memory, just a random memory I have from senior year madrigals, where a couple of us on a night where it was 5-inch, 10-inch snowstorm around Christmas time, just went out and Christmas caroled down the State Streets in Urbana during the snowstorm, and it was like picturesque, like Christmas moment, like just like super fun. One of those memories you just think back, but that was really awesome. Like, why did we do that? Who did that? I don't remember, but it was great. And people loved it.
I think uni is very big on singing during the holidays.
Yeah.
The German class, we have to sing every year.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets or anything you would have done differently?
No. I tend to not have regrets. I figure, things happen, you do them.
You got it.
If something went wrong, just learn from it, but don't think back. If you did it differently, maybe worse. Who knows? So I tend to not look at life that way in general. So I would say no.
You graduated 23 years ago?
Yeah, 24 almost, 23 and a half.
Almost, yeah.
But
So-
it doesn't feel that long, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put time in perspective, but has your perspective on uni changed since graduating, or as your time as a uni student?
I think with anything, as you get older, you have more perspective because you have more experiences and different things happen in your life. I think that I appreciate it more now, in my 30s and 40s than I did when I was in my 20s. Sort of you look back a little more on things you did, and there's more nostalgia. All
right, so I guess the last few questions is, what advice do you have for current students on how to make the most of their time here?
Be you. I mean, that's one of the lessons I learned from uni at the time, and coming out, is it's okay to be you. It's okay to be weird, or be what you consider normal, whatever that is. Just whoever you feel you are, people are going to support you. Your friends are going to support you. Your family's going to support you. So I think we can internalize a lot of things that we don't talk about, particularly when you're a teenager, when you're trying to figure yourself out. But it is always okay to be you. I'd say college is important. What you do after high school is important. I have not thought about many finals and midterms and papers that I wrote at uni in my adult life.
Yeah.
In the moment, it's always super, super the most important thing in the world, and you're stressed, but try to take a little bit of a bigger picture when you can.
Looking back, it was
and that one grade that that one test you flubbed that gave you a B+ instead of an A, it's fine. You're gonna gonna do what you want to do. You're gonna get to a good school. So just taking a step back and looking at that long view and thinking this might suck right now, but it'll be okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, so my last and final question is, do you know where your handprint is? And if so, where is it?
I know exactly where it is. It is when you walk in the door, it's to the left, and it's behind, there's a pipe, along the, northwest corner, and it's right behind there on the lower end of the wall. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Heidi.